In this video, we're going to use Ally to help guide us through making a bCourses page more accessible. So right here, if I scroll up, I have a welcome page to my course site. And right now I'm getting an indicator from Ally on this image and this image down here, and the accessibility score is low. But there's actually more guidance that we can get from Ally. So if we scroll back up and select Edit, we just wait for this rich content editor to load, and then in the top right corner we have an Ally score here. If we select the score, that's going to take us into the Ally WYSIWYG tool, and now it's going to walk us through everything that it detects that might be a problem on our bCourses page. First, it's telling me that this image right here needs alternative text. So someone using a screen reader could have a description of the image on the page. Right now, the alt text is just the file name, and that's not going to be sufficient. So we have two options. We can write in some alternative text right here, or we can have Gemini do this for us, right? So all I did was type Gemini in my Google search, and then I'm going to select Google Gemini from the first result here. So I'm going to find that same image of Totoro, and it's on my computer. But I'm going to drag it into Gemini, and then I'll type in provide concise alt text. All right, so then as a subject matter expert, I'm going to check the work from Gemini and make sure that that is an accurate description. So I can now select this text. I'll use my context menu or right click and go to copy. And then I'll go back over to bCourses. And right here under the alt text description right here, I can delete this and I'll paste that description here. And then I can select save. All right, so now it's taking me to the next image. This image is serving as a divider on the page, or sort of showing that it's the end of the page. And it's actually not critical that we give a description for this because it's just a text divider. So what I can do, I can go over here to indicate image as decorative. So I can select that. Now I have just one more error right here. So if I select this in the WYSIWYG tool, it says the headings in this item do not begin at the highest level. Guidance not available yet. Well, that's not super helpful. So I'm going to close the WYSIWYG tool. And right here in the rich content editor, I'm just going to go to these headings that I have here. The larger text, I'll select course summary right here. And if I look under the heading structure, you can see this is actually labeled as a paragraph, but it's not a paragraph. This should be a heading. So the H1 tag or heading 1 is always the title of the page inside bCourses, right? It's different between Canvas or bCourses and a Word document. So the H1 is always the title of the page. And then within the rich content editor, you have the option for H2 through H4, okay? Since this is the first heading within the page, I can mark this as an H2. And then I can go to the next heading here, and this is actually marked as a heading 4. And that's not a logical heading structure, right? So if we were going from course summary, and then if we had something that was related to course summary, but we need another heading tag, we would go to H3 or heading 3. In this situation, course summary is one section and this list is a different section. So they're not related. So I would also mark this as an H2. Okay, so these are two different sections. And if you want, you can actually change the size of the text here. This is right here. This is 24 point, and you can change this also to 24 point. Let's look at one more example. So here on this page, I'm talking about categories of animation. Now the title of the page will be automatically labeled by bCourses as a heading 1 tag. So here I've got the first category of animation, traditional animation. So that would be labeled as a heading 2. And then here we have key characteristics and famous examples. This content relates back to traditional animation. So then we would go from a heading 2 to a heading 3 for each of these sections. Now we're jumping to a different category of animation. So that would be a heading 2. Okay. So you can sort of see how it logically flows. We've got our top title here, heading 1. These 3 relate back to categories of animation. So those would all get the heading 2. And then within each category, there's additional information. And so those would get a lower heading, heading 3. So you just want to make sure that you properly structure your page with heading tags. All right, so let's now take a look at our list right here. Right now, if I look at this text, this is a list of 5 things that students need to know right away. And right now there's just a little dash here, and this is not officially formatted as a list. So what you want to do is always use the tool within the editor that you're using. So that if that's in the rich content editor in bCourses, or if it's in a word processor, you want to select the text and use a tool that officially makes it into a list, right? We have all these different options here. I'm just going to use a bulleted list here. So now we've properly formatted this, and the HTML will reflect that. So someone who's using a screen reader will know that this is a list. So last thing I want to talk about are descriptive hyperlinks, okay? So for example, right here on the 4th bullet point, I'm talking about notifications, setting up notifications properly. And you never want to select text that says click here and then turn that into a hyperlink. That's not going to be descriptive for someone using a screen reader. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just delete this sentence. And I'm going to highlight this right up here. This is descriptive. I want to put in a link to describing how to set up your notifications, right? I'm going to go to the site where I want to, I'll put in, let's see, Canvas notifications setup. All right, so here's the page that I want to direct students to. How do I manage my Canvas notification settings? So I'll take this URL. I'm going to copy it, go back over here to bCourses. So here's the text, and I'm going to use the hyperlink button right here. This is going to be an external link, and I'll paste my link here, and I'll select done. And now I have a descriptive hyperlink that is accessible for folks using a screen reader. So those are some of the major accessibility issues that you might find on a bCourses page. Now that we're done, I'm going to go ahead and save this page. And here you can see we have a new ally score here because we've added our alt text. Those are showing up as accessible. We've got an accessible link, we've got an accessible list, and we have accessible headings on this page.